You will watch these two videos first for pre-lab. Then, i-download nyo yung recorded video natin ngayon, which is the lecture. Then, later on, sagutan nyo na yung seat work. Okay? So, that is the, hopefully, yun yung maayos na system. Okay? So, let's go now. Okay? So, for the second condition of equilibrium, so definitely, you know that the summation of moments along a system should be equal to zero, okay? So kung nakalimutan nyo na yung diniscuss natin yung introduction on the second condition of equilibrium previously, we used two version or two solutions. We have scalar solution and we have um, the vector solution. Now, in all cases, mas madali yung scalar solution in which you will just multiply the moment. The formula for the moment is just force times its displacement, its moment arm. Okay. Now, not all cases. Not all cases na medyo convenient ang scalar. Okay, you have to use also um, the cross product, which is the cross product of the moment arm times its force. Okay? So, siguro natatandaan nyo yun. Okay? So, in which, in the second condition of equilibrium, the summation of moment should be equal to zero since we have two kinds of moment. So, pwede tayong magkaroon ng moment along counterclockwise and clockwise. This is only true for 2D. Okay? This direction for counterclockwise and clockwise is only true if we are discussing for 2D. Now, if it's 3D, hindi na. Okay? So, ang moment natin, it's either we going to, there is a moment along X, along Y, or along Z, and the rotation is along x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Okay, so that is the difference of the 2D to 3D. Now for the 3D, so you have to know the basic that if a certain force, okay, magkakaroon tayo ng, para magkaintindihan tayo yan, okay? So if this is the pivot and this is our force, okay, the force applied and this is the moment arm, you have to determine if this force will apply to our system, will make our system turn clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay, since this force is going down, okay, pero not all forces that is going down will turn this this is a wrench, will turn this in wrench into turn to clockwise. So definitely the moment here should be, what it should be the moment here? Is it positive or negative? If the force is going, it will make the system to turn to clockwise. Okay, so that should be negative. So yun yung ano lang, ano ba to? Conventional, okay? So if the force will make our system to turn into a clockwise direction, that is negative. That's why this is minus here. All the a moment that is going to clockwise will be negative, and all the forces naman that will make our system to turn counterclockwise will be positive. Okay, so generally, so you can either use this equation to find the summation of moment along the system, or this one kasi it's just either the summation of moment of counterclockwise is just equal to clockwise. Okay, so that is the system. Now, if you only have one force here, definitely this is not in equilibrium, pero not all cases okay? Pero in our system, let's assume there are no other forces acting here. We only have here the pivot and we only have one force. If we will get the moment of this is not equal to zero. Okay, this is not equal to zero. There is a net moment or the net turning here. Now, ang goal natin is to have an equilibrium. So, if our system will be, if we have one force which is F1, kailangan natin ng another force which is F2 to make our system into an equilibrium. So usually ang condition of the second condition of equilibrium, we have two forces in this case, okay, for 2D. So here, if we will assume that the moment of force, okay, the moment of force or the torque that is going counterclockwise is just equal to the moment of force that is going to clockwise. So therefore, this is in equilibrium, okay, that is for 2D. Okay, so I further discussed this in the lecture, okay, yung lecture ng sinasabi ko sa inyo. So we will have this one. So we will, for example, this is our system. We will get the formula of this. So hopefully natatandaan nyo. So we have the moment of force due to F2. So I put that as for counterclockwise kasi this force will make our system to turn to counterclockwise. Well, for F1, that is for clockwise. So since it's clockwise, do not forget to place negative. Now, if there are many forces acting on the system, you have just add here. Okay? So for example, meron pang F1, F3 here na pababa. So minus moment of force due to F3 and so on. Okay? And that is equal to 0 because our system is not accelerating. For example, it's not accelerating, so therefore it's in equilibrium. Now, for the formula of our moment of force due to F2, it's just moment of force times F2 times the lever arm or the moment arm 2. So this is a scalar solution. Okay? Scalar solution muna tayo. Now, for F2, that is minus what is wait, F2 times D2 minus F1 D1 is equal to 0. It's either you can do this one, ilalagay nyo na yung count clockwise sa kabila, so you will just equate. So if you will just equate them, definitely ang gagamitin yung direction dito for clockwise is positive. Okay? Kasi minove mo nyo na siya sa kabila. So, if you will move the moment of force of this one to the other side, so it means you are going to make it as positives, just like this. Okay? And the same, so if we will replace or we will substitute the moment of arm, that is F2, D2 is just equal to F1, D1, which is just the same if we will move this F2, D2, F1, D1 on the other side. Okay, so that is for 2D. So again, hopefully, I discussed this one on the previous video again. So here we have, I have two forces. So I have a 1 meter stick and I have two forces acting on the meter stick. So that is F1 and F2. Now, remember, we will also discuss here the center of mass. So any objects that is regular, okay, pag sinabing regular, square, circle, triangle, and so on, so any shape, okay? So for the meter stick, the center of mass of a meter stick is always on the center. So if it's 1 meter, so definitely the center of mass is on 50. So ibig sabihin, we can balance the meter stick without the forces. Wag muna natin isipin yung forces. We can balance our meter stick at 50 mark. Okay, so that is the point. Now, if we are going to determine that balance, the equilibrium of this, so we will just get which force will make our system to turn clockwise and counterclockwise, just like that. Okay, i-identify nyo muna. Okay, then you will use the formula. Then definitely this one. So si F2 again ang magka-counterclockwise and si F1 ang clockwise. So this will be the equation and that's it. Okay, it's just the same. Okay, pag meter stick na ang pinag-uusapan natin. Now, let's apply this in a problem. Actually, dun sa again, sabihin ko sa previous video, marami akong example dito ng ganito, yung basic, yung using a meter stick and different forces. So hopefully maintindihan nyo yun. Okay, so let's apply this one. So this is for pang lecture naman. So I have here a particular crane. Okay, so this is a crane. Ang tawag dito sa parang lever arm is a jib. Okay, so that is a jib. One jib, this is the second jib. So if you will be assigned, kunwari, you will be an engineer that is going to measure the counter, okay, how much weight you will counter this weight. So for example, this is the problem. So the crane's counterweight mass is 9,400 kilogram. Where should be the counterweight be placed when the load lifted from the ground? And the load that you're going to lift is 3,100 kilogram, which is this. Ito yung ililift nyo. ito yung length ng inyong jib, and this is your counterweight. So, definitely, if you are going to use or operate crane, automatic siya. Actually, automatic siya. Okay? Pero for physics purposes, let's assume hindi siya automatic. Kayo ang magko-compute. Okay? Lalong-lalo na pag na-assign kayo sa project na sira yung system, okay, or yung computer. So kayo magko-compute and kayo yung magmamano-manong magmo-move ng counterweight on the crane. So let's see. So kayo pero malay nyo maka-encounter kayo nito. Okay, so we have here the weight 1, definitely. So that is the weight 1. And we have here the lever arm or the moment arm of our weight 1 from the center. So which is this will be our pivot, okay? And that is our moment arm 1. Now for this counterweight, that will be our weight 2. And the distance of way to here is the unknown. Okay? Yung 3.4 na yan, that is the length of the jib. Yung pwedeng galawan ng ating counterweight. Pero hindi yan yung moment arm. Okay? Ng ating counterweight. Nagkakaintindihan tayo dito ha. Hopefully nagkakaintindihan tayo dito on this system. Okay? So, in real life, mas komplikado pa to. Okay? So, this is just the basic. Kasi in real life, you have to determine the tension of this and so on. Pakadami pa. Okay? So, for this, for the basics, so ang alamin natin is what is D2. So, we will use the formula of this, so which is the summation of moment along the system is equal to 0. So, the counterclockwise should be equal to clockwise. Again, if you will use this, you will assume that all moments are positive. Okay? Pag ginamit nyo itong formula na to, all moments are positive. So, we have here, the way to should be, if this is the pivot, our way to will make our system to turn into anong direction sa tingin nyo? If this is our pivot, way 2 will turn our system into clockwise or counterclockwise?
Counterclockwise.
Counter.
Okay, good. Counterclockwise, while the weight 1 will make our system to turn to clockwise direction. Okay? Hindi pwedeng pareho silang counterclockwise or else ang ating crane ay babagsak. Okay? Magte-turn yan. So, it should be yung isa clockwise, yung isa counterclockwise if we have two weights here. So, that will be so this one, so si weight 2, again, si weight 2 ang counterclockwise times its moment arm, D2. And si yung ililift nating weight, which is weight 1 times D1. Now, if these are masses, for example, hindi weight, okay, kailangan nyo siyang i-multiply. For example, this is like this one, 3,100 kilograms. So, kailangan natin mag-multiply dito ng 9.8 kasi we are talking about force. Okay, we are talking about force. So that is M2G D2, okay, that is to get the weight of 2. Then M1G D1 to get the weight of our weight 1 times its moment arm. Okay, pero makakancel lang din. So this is the given. So we have a weight that is going to be lifted, but that is 3,100 kilogram, and our counterweight is 9,400 kilogram. So it means, if we will derive this formula, so kailangan nating i-divide siya to M2G. So G will be cancelled out definitely. And that will be our formula. So D2 is 3,100 kilogram times 7.7. So this is the distance from the weight 1 to the pivot. So that is 7.7 meters. And divided by the counterweight, so therefore, D2 is 2.54 meters. So ilalagay natin yung counterweight 2.54 meters from the pivot. Okay? So hopefully that is clear. And malalaman nyo kung ano yung, sa tingin nyo, ano yung maximum na pwede nyong kargahin on this crane. So let's see if you can, actually hindi ko to inad, pero this question. For example, you have the counterweight which is 9,400 kilogram. Okay? At ang jib nyo, the moment arm, the maximum moment arm na na pwede nyo lang magamit is 3.4. So therefore, what should be the maximum weight na kayang kargahin ng crane na ito? Hello? Naintindihan nyo ba ang aking tanong? Second question?
Yes po.
Okay. So, can you give me what should be the maximum weight na kayang kargahin ng ating crane on this part? Okay, for example, kaya nyo bang, for this one, yung weight pa, pag ginawa ko bang 4,000, kakayanin ba ng ating jib?
Yes po.
Okay, so for example, ano yung maximum niya? So therefore,
4,150.65 po ba, ma'am?
Again, teka lang, sulat natin. So, paano mo sinolve yun? How did you solve it?
Minultiply ko po yung 9,400 sa 3.4, tapos dinivide ko po sa 7.7.
Okay, so you will just use the same formula of this. So this one, okay, so ito yun. So same formula din. Ang hinahanap nyo naman dito is yung weight 1 or yung mass 1. Okay, so through that, malalaman nyo kung ano yung maximum weight na kaya ng inyong crane. Okay? Because ang restriction sa ating crane problem is yung length ng ating jib. Okay? Yung length ng ating moment arm. Okay? So that is for that. So that is basic. So hopefully you understand this one. Okay? Now, this one is part of the problem in the video. Okay, isa to doon sa mga problems. Kailangan ko lang siya i-discuss sa inyo kasi hindi nyo pa, sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi ko pa na-discuss sa inyo. Okay? So, this is a problem. So, if a mass of 30 grams is hung at 80 cm mark while its pivot is at 30 cm mark. So, ibig sabihin ng pivot, yung support. Okay? Yung knife edge. This is the knife edge. How much mass must we place at 0 mark to balance the system? Okay, if the mass of the meter stick is 50 grams. So, ang difference ng problem na to previously sa ating jib, okay, or sa ating crane is ideally, kailangan natin i-include yung weight ng beam, ng jib. Okay, so here may makikita lang kayong two weights which is yung weight na ililift at yung counterweight. Pero in real life, kailangan natin i-include yung weight ng ating beam. Okay? And yung weight ng ating beam is always on the center. So if this is, for example, 7 meters jib, ang center of mass or weight ng jib natin is nasa 3.5. Okay? Roughly on that. Okay? So that is the idea. So here, kung gusto natin siyang i-balance, if this is our meter stick, kung gusto natin i-balance ang ating meter stick, and sinabi ditong the mass of the meter stick is 50 grams. So therefore, how many forces do I have here?
Tatlo po, ma'am.
Hello? Okay, so I have 3 forces. Okay? So, yun yung idea. So we have here the weight 1, which is due to mass 1, the weight 2 due to mass 2, and the weight of the meter stick. Kahit wala kayong nakikita, you have to include the weight of the meter stick, which is always the center of mass. Again, in regular objects, the center of mass of an object is always on the geometric center. Pero pag pinag-usapan natin is yung, for example, baseball bat, okay, definitely hindi nasa geometric center yung baseball bat. If the baseball bat is 1 meter, hindi nyo makikita yung center of mass noon sa 0.5. Okay, sa 50 cm. It's nearer to, because mas heavier ang baseball bat at one end, so mag-shift yung kanyang center of mass on that. Okay, so later on pag-uusapan natin ang center of mass kasi mahalaga yun sa dito. Okay, so kung tatanungin ko kayo again kung how many forces that I have here, actually I have 4. Okay, 4 forces here. So, yung mga weight natin, we have 3 forces, and yung force ng ating support which is going up is the 4th one. Okay, so we will measure also that one. So, in a bridge problem, okay, so in a bridge problems, for example, what I have here, sa bridge problem, kasi dalawa yung support, kailangan natin i-measure yung bridge, yung support din. Okay, so let's focus on this one first. So, ang goal natin is ano dapat yung weight ni M2 para mabalance ang system. So, medyo madali na to since alamin nyo muna yung moment arm. So definitely the distance of moment arm in 2D is always from the pivot to the weight. So that is D2. This is the moment arm for meter stick, and this is the moment arm for our weight 1. So all of them came from ang manggagaling sa 30 cm mark. Okay? So if we will compute again, so the summation of moment is equal to 0. Since we have 3 forces here, yung kanina sinabi ko, may force tayong which is this one. Okay? Sulat natin. Which is F. This is F support, Fs. Bakit naririnig ko sarili ko? Mute natin muna. Okay. Narinig ko sarili ko eh. Okay. Now, since we have here the force, which is Fs, ang force natin, which is Fs, is not included because it is applied on the pivot. So remember from our previous discussion, if a force is applied on a pivot, it will not make our system to turn, okay, in any way. So that's why hindi natin siya kasama in solving for the summation of moment, okay? So here, we have the moment due to weight 2, that is counterclockwise, so it's positive. Then weight 1, that is clockwise, so that is negative. And the weight of the meter stick, so clockwise, so that is negative. So if we will replace this one with their formula, so that will be M2G D2 minus M1G D1 minus M mass of the meter stick times G dm. Okay? So ang gusto nating malaman is what is M2. Okay? Since we want to get the M2, we have to derive. So, ilagay na, M2 should be positive. So, that is, siya yung may iwan sa kabila since it's already positive. And the rest of the variables that has no M2 will be going to the other side. Okay? Naghihingalo na yung boses ko. Wait lang. Okay? So, that one. So, divide both side by G over D2. So, it will be just this one. Okay, so masusundan nyo naman siya. So, since there are G on all sides, so we can factor this out, yung G. Okay, so will be just like that. So, G is times M1D1 plus M mass of meter 6 times the moment arm of meter 6 divided by GD2. We can cancel G. So, our final formula will be this, yung M1D1 plus mass of meter 6 times moment arm of meter 6 divided by D2. And if we will substitute the given, so the answer here is, what will be the answer in this problem? Ano answer dito? Okay, so, okay. Ako na nga lang. So the answer is 0.83 kilogram. Okay, or the mass of the here should be 0.83 kilogram para mabalance ang system. If you will place here, oops. Okay, nawala ako. Ano ba? If you will place here 0.9, definitely the system will not be balanced. Okay. Are you still with me? Can you still hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes po, choppy lang.
Hello? Narinig niyo ba ako?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
po.
Choppy lang po.
Patol-patol lang po.
Hmm. Okay, kala ko. Oo nga eh, mukhang may tumutunog yung, may nag-warn sa akin eh. Yung Oo. Okay. Pag nagputol-putol, again, balikan nyo na lang yung recorded video natin ha. Kasi this is also recorded naman. Okay, kasi mukhang nag-warn yung aking phone. Okay, so ay yung aking desktop. So that is 0.83 and in this problem, we are also going to find the force exerted by the support, yung pivot natin, which is this. Okay? So as I said, since this is a pivot, the direction of the force of the support is always going to this direction, which is going up. Okay? So that is the F support. And if you are going to find the force of the support, hindi na tayo gagamit ng the moment of force, the summation of moment of force, kasi ang ating F support ay nasa gitna. Okay, nasa pivot. So, useless if we will use the second condition of equilibrium. So, to find the F support, ang gagawin lang natin is we will use the first condition.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, nawala po kayo, ma'am.
Nawala po, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am?
Ma'am.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am, okay ka po?
Yes. Ma?
Okay, na mukhang nawala ako. Ano nangyari na?
Ma'am, nawala ka, ma'am.
Oo nga,
Hindi
nawala
na po ata,
ako.
ma'am.
Bakit ganon? Okay, narinig niyo yung discussion ko dito? Saan ako naputol? I don't know. Bakit may nag-kick ba sa akin? Ba't nawala ako? Lumabas ako.
Tigil lang po yung, ma'am.
Hmm?
Pagsasalita po, ma'am, tumigil lang po bigla, ma'am.
Tumigil lang?
Opo, ma'am.
Huwag
Opo, ma'am, di ka
i-mute,
nawala,
ha?
ma'am.
Baka
Di ka-
biglang nawala ako. Okay. So, saan ako this one? Naintindihan niyo yung aking tanong dito? Ang last kong question is, ano yung last kong question on this? On this system?
Wala pa po dyan, ma'am. Yung
wala pa?
ine-exert po na force dun sa knife edge po, dun pa lang po.
Okay.
Supporting
Here.
force po.
Ito pa lang? This
Wala
one?
pa po, ma'am. Bago pa po dyan, ma'am.
Mag-uumpisa pa lang po dyan sa support.
Okay. So, nawala ako. Saan ako nawala kaya?
Yan po, ma'am, sa how much force exerted by support.
Okay.
Nabanggit po ma'am na first condition po yung gagamitin.
Nandun lang, hanggang doon lang yung narinig nyo?
Yes po, doon
Yes.
na doon po.
Yes, ma'am.
Kaya ang hirap ng online eh. Okay. Ang hirap ng live talaga. Okay. Dami ko na nasabi Nauubos na yung lalamunan. Naubos na yung boses ko. Okay. So, dami ko na nasabi. So, balikan natin. Okay. So, again, pag usapan ng forces along teka lang. So, if we will talk about the forces on a system, okay, kung hahanapin natin ang force support, ang gagamitin natin is yung first condition of equilibrium, okay? And since our forces here lang ay forces along y, so we have the summation of forces along y, okay? And lahat ng forces pataas will be positive, lahat ng forces pababa will be negative. So, will be the equation. So, ang F support lang natin yung positive. The rest, yung weight ng meter stick, weight 1 and weight 2 will be negative because they are going downward. And yung position of forces is not really important in the first condition of equilibrium. So because we are not talking about moment, okay? Wala tayong moment arm here. So kung ano lang yung mga values ng forces na to, yun lang ang ating isa-substitute. Now, since we're looking for F support, okay? So, sana narinig nyo pa rin ako. Since we are looking for F support, we will move these three variables, yung itong mga weights on the other side. So, it will be just like this. And if we will substitute the given, so that will be the given for meter stick, the given for weight 1, and the given for weight 2. So, the weight of meter stick is 0.49. The weight of 1 is 0.33 Newton, and the weight of weight 2 is 0.81. So if we will add this one, that is 1.63 Newton, which is the sum of all the forces that is going downward. Okay, so that is the idea. And if you will build a bridge, making sure that your support will be enough to support all the masses that is supposedly on the bridge. So kung makikita niyo yung bridge, meron siyang kunwari, this bridge can only support up to 10 tons, okay? So yun yung mass niya. Usually, nilalagyan naman siya ng pasobra ng mga civil engineers. Pero once, for example, thrice yata lang, 30 tons, kunwari 10 tons yung maximum ng bridge, then ginagawa lang nilang twice. Pero pag yung dumaan na mass, kunwari nagkaroon ng traffic, then maraming truck na mabibigat na dumaan sa bridge at hindi lumagpas yun sa capacity ng bridge, so definitely the bridge will broke down, okay? So that it will be so magkakaroon kayo ng problema sa inyong project on that. Okay? So, let's talk about now bridge problem. Now, sa bridge, dalawang ating pivot. Okay? Dalawang ating support. So, if I have here the system, I have two support here and I have weight 1. So, imagine the weight 1 is the car or the truck that is going to pass through to our bridge. How many forces do I have here in this system? if I will solve the support. Ilang forces meron kayo nakikita?
4.
Hello?
Apat,
Okay,
ma'am.
we have 4. Okay, we have 4. And okay, so may delay yung iba nagdi-delay. Okay, so we have 4, okay, 4 forces. Because nakalagay dito yung mass ng meter stick, so definitely we have the weight 1, yung hang mass, the weight of the meter stick which is on the center, the force of the support A, let's call that as support A, and the force of support B. Now, in this problem, okay, kung gusto natin malaman yung force of support A and support B, hindi tayo pwede mag-come up sa first condition of equilibrium. Okay, bakit? Kasi if we will use the first condition of equilibrium agad, dalawa yung unknown forces natin which is FA and FB. So what we're going to do is we will use the second condition of equilibrium to determine the force. Okay? Kung ano dito, mamimili muna kayo. Teka lang, yung aking anak na pa. Quiet, baby. Okay, so here mamimili muna kayo kung ano yung inyong pivot. Okay? So in this case, pipiliin kong pivot muna si pivot A, so support A. Now, if this will be my pivot, definitely FA will not be included in my equation kasi this force is applied on my pivot. And I assume, so as if this one is just a force that is going up. So it will be just this case. So if this is your pivot, mawawala si FA at ang meron na lang tayong tatlong forces. Okay? Now, we will use again the second condition of equilibrium to find FB. Okay? So nakuha nyo na yung idea.
Hindi po ata gumagalaw
Mamula.
yung po slide, ma'am.
Ba yan? Nawawala?
Hindi po nag-next,
Naka-stop
ma'am.
lang po siya, ma'am.
Naka-freeze lang po, ma'am.
Oh my tulay. Ano ba naman tong aking? Ay, naka-freeze lang?
Sa F support po.
Okay, wait lang. Nasaan na ba ako? Okay, nakikita nyo na?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay. So again, so this, pag inassign natin yung isang support as your pivot, mawawala yung force FA. Okay? So the same, pag inassign nyo si FP as your pivot, okay, mawawala si FB pero may iwan si FA. Okay, so that will be the case. So here, since I assign my support A as my pivot, mawawala siya kasi if a certain force is applied on a pivot, it will not make our system to rotate. Okay, so here, the summation of moment, we will get it. So, kailangan natin ng lever arm or moment arm. So, D1 is the moment arm of weight 1. DM is the moment arm of our meter stick. And DB is the moment arm of our FB. Okay? So, that will be the case. So, the summation of moment is equal to 0. So, we have 3 forces here. At yung si weight ni 1 and weight ni meter stick will be clockwise, so therefore they are negative, while si FB will be counterclockwise, that's why it's positive. Okay, plus moment of FB. Okay, so that is the equation. Now let's substitute the formula for the moment. So that will be my negative M1G D1 minus M mass of meter sticks times GDM plus FBDB is equal to 0. Since we are looking for FB, so i-move natin yung other variables on the other side since FB here is positive na. So ito yung ililipat natin yung the rest, okay, on the other side. So it will be just like this, okay? Then we will divide both sides by DB. Okay, so just like this one, okay, para mawala yung DB on FB, and we will now substitute the given. So ito na yung given, okay? So that is the mass of the the mass of our weight 1 is 0.03 kilogram times 9.8 times its moment arm is 0.3. While for meter stick, that is 0.05 yung kanyang mass. Then 9.8 meter per second squared. Then 0.5 ang kanyang moment arm because nasa center siya. So this is the distance from the pivot to the center of the meter stick. While si FB, siya ay nasa dulo, kabilang dulo ng ating meter stick. So that is 1 meter. Okay? And the answer here is 0.33 Newton. So, ang force ni FA, ang force ni FB rather is 0.33 Newton. Now, since you know na FB, you can either use the first condition to get FA. So, you will just get the summation of forces and do FA. Pero in my case, I will be using again the second condition of equilibrium to get FA. Pwede yun. Okay? Pwede nyo gawin to. So, this will be now my pivot at si FA naman ang isosolve ko. Okay? So, in that case, that will be my DM. So, this is the moment arm from the pivot of my meter stick. Magbabago ang ating mga moment arm. D1, this is the moment arm from the pivot to my weight 1. And the moment arm of my FA from the pivot is DA. Okay? So, magbabago lang ng values ang moment arm ni weight 1. So, again, this is the formula. So, here, si FA na ang negative while the rest of weight 1 and weight ng meter stick will be positive because they are counterclockwise. Okay? This is counterclockwise and clockwise si FA. Okay? And this is the pivot na kasi si support B. So again, let's substitute the formula. So this will be the formula. This is again, and we will derive. So this is the formula again. Then we will divide it both sides on dA. Okay? So that is the formula. And we will now substitute. Now, to get this mass 1, so that is 0.3 kilogram times 9.8 times 0.7 because ang ating moment arm na is mula sa pivot to the weight 1. So that is, since this is 1 meter, ang isang meter stick, so that is 0.7. Okay? And again, si meter stick ay nasa gitna, so that is 0.05 kilogram times 9.8 times 0.5, then divided by the moment arm of the whole kasi end-to-end ang ating pivot and our force, so that is 1 meter. And the answer here is 0.45 Newton. Okay? So, kung mapapansin nyo kanina, si FB, ang kanyang force ni FB ay, ano ba yung force ni FB kanina? 0.33. Okay? So, since si weight natin ay mas malapit kay support A, kaya mas malaki yung kanyang ine-exert na support compare kay support B. Okay, so that is the idea. And once naman nag-move ang ating weight 1 near to support B, siya naman yung mas malaki yung kanyang exert na force. So again, if you will build a bridge, make it sure na compute nyo yung ganitong system, okay? Yung ating summation, yung ating position ng mga masses on a bridge, okay? So that will be, okay, now, so if we will, this is ito pala yun. Okay, so yung support B is 0.33 Newton and si support A is 0.45. And if we will get the weight 1, 0.49 and 0.49, 0.29, 0.49. If we will add this one, these two forces, it's just equal to the sum of weight 1 and weight ng meter stick. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, so ito na tayo. Okay, again, this is also part of the previous video na sinabi ko sa inyo pero may dinagdag lang ako. Okay, so here, medyo kakaiba na yung ating problema dito kasi ang hahanapin natin is saan natin siya ibabalance. So, yung ating pivot here is undetermined kung anong position. Okay? So, if the mass of 60 grams daw is hung at 0 mark of our meter stick, where should you place the pivot to balance the system? Okay? In your lab, you do this, kung hindi pala lab, kung gagawin nyo to on face-to-face laboratory, actually, ano lang siya, i-check nyo siya, parang tatansyahin nyo lang, that is the term, tatansyahin nyo lang kung nasaan yung inyong center of mass. Now, since you are engineers, hindi pwedeng tansyahan, lalo na pag malalaki yung system, okay? Pag pinag-usapan yung mga crane like that, or the bridges. So, kailangan yung natin mag-compute accurately where should be the center of mass of a system, okay? Pag pinag-usapan lang natin yung center of mass ng meter stick, makikita natin 50. Pero pag center of mass of the system, pag sinabi nating system, kasama na yung weight 1 or the mass 1. Okay? So here, how many forces do I have again on this system? I have 3 forces kasama yung support. Okay? 3 forces kasama yung support. So we have here, hindi muna natin include yung support. We have 2 forces muna. So we have the weight 1 and the weight ng meter stick. Okay? Now, ang problema natin is hindi natin malaman kung paano natin kukumputin yung ating moment arm. Malaking problema yan. So, ang isang method to do that is to use this. Okay? So, first, i-mark natin or alamin natin muna yung position ng ating weight 1. So, that is 0. Then, alamin natin yung position ng ating weight 2. So, that is XM. Okay? X1 and XM is the position along X. Let's assume this is along X axis. Okay? And XP is the assumption. Okay? So XP is the variable we will use to determine which is the position of the pivot. Okay? So kung gusto nating malaman na yung moment arm ni weight 1, we will just have the difference of this. So that will be D1. Okay, for meter stick, this is the moment arm, so that is DM. So kung gusto niyo malaman si D1, ang gagawin niyo lang is XP minus X1. Whatever the value of XP minus your initial position of your weight, which is 0 meters. For meter stick naman, okay, that will be XM, kasi mas mataas si XM minus your position, which is XP. Okay? And that will be your DM. So, ang problema natin dito is to find what is XP. Okay? So, we will use again the summation of moment to find here. So, that will be moment of weight 1 minus of moment of weight of the meter stick is equal to 0. So, let's substitute the formula. And we have to substitute what is D1 and what is DM, which is this. Okay, yung nakita na natin. So, for D1, it will be, okay, we will equate it first muna pala. Okay, so, for D1, that is mass 1 times G times XP minus X1. While for DM, that is mass of the meter stick times G times XM minus XP. Then, ang gagawin natin susunod dito, we will distribute. Okay? So, i-multiply natin itong M1G to XP and to X1. So, it will be this. Okay? So, teka, nag-cancel out ng G. Okay? Since both sides kasi may G, maka-cancel out. Then, we will distribute. So, that will be X1 XP minus M1 X1 is equal to M2 X2 minus M2 XP. And the next step here is, from this, pagsasamahin natin yung may variables na XP. So, since this is may XP, ilalagay natin dito on the other side yung XP here. So, it will be this. Okay, so M1 XP, stay siya. Then yung M1 MMXP on this side will go to the other side. So, it will become positive, which is this. Okay? And on the other side, lahat ng variables na walang XP. So, si mass ng meter stick times XM. Then, this one will be going to the other side. That's why it's positive. Okay? So, the next step here is we will factor out XP since we are going to look for XP. So, factor out natin si XP and that will be the case. And divide both sides by M1 plus M of meter stick. Okay. So, this is now the formula to determine where should be the pivot. Okay, the position of the pivot. So, ang pinag-uusapan nating XP dito ay position along X. X means position along X. Okay? So, let's substitute the given now. So that is 0.5, the mass of the meter stick, 0.5 meters, position of XM plus 0.06, the mass of the weight 1, and ang position niya is 0 meters. Okay, 0 meters. So, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is position points divided by their masses. So, that is 0.05 plus 0.06. So, this one, cancel ang kilogram. And the answer for the position is 0.2273 meters or 22.73 cm. So itong XP dapat nandito. Okay? Yun yung ating accurate position of our pivot. Okay? Now, this is also the method that we can use to find the center of mass. Actually, ito lang yung derivation nun. Okay? So, pag gusto nyo malaman yung center of mass along X, you will use this one. So, kung mas marami pa yung mass na nakahang, you will just add. Okay? So, this is the general formula for determining the center of mass along X. Now, if yung meter stick nyo naman nakatayo at may mga nakastick doon na masses, okay, ito naman yung gagamitin nyo, the XM, the YCM, in which Y1, Y2, or mas marami pa are the positions on Y divided by their masses. Okay, so this is the general equation for determining the center of mass. So, and again, all positions should be measured from the origin. Pag sinabi natin origin, as if there is an axis here, and this is yung position na tong x1 would be our 0. Okay, so as if that is like that. Okay, so hopefully na-gets nyo yan. So let's, this is how to check if tama yung sagot natin previously. So gagamitin na natin yung summation of moment is equal to 0. So we have this equation and that one. So if we will equate, kung tama yung ating formula. So we have the mass 1, so 0.06 kilogram. Yung D1 natin, since alam na natin si XP, ang ating position D1 or moment arm is 0.2273. Kasi si X1 kanina ay 0. Okay? While for M2, 0.5, this is for meter stick. Ang moment arm ni meter stick ay 0.2727 meters. Okay? So, in that case, we will substitute. This is for our weight 1 and this is for our weight 2. They should have the same answer because they are just equal. Okay, so this is how to check if your position, if your center of mass is correct. Okay, now let's go to this system of masses. Okay, now not all cases gagamit kayo ng regular objects. In some cases gagamit tayo ng mga irregular objects, in which lalo na sa crane problem, in real life, hindi lang isa ang position ng inyong counterweight, mas marami pang position yan. So, in that case, paano nyo malalaman yung center of mass of different weight? Okay, so here, we have 4 masses. I have here 6 kilogram, 3 kilogram, 9 kilogram, and 3 kilogram again. And they are in the position of y-axis and x-axis. So, hahanapin natin ang dalawang position on this. Okay? Hindi lang along x, hindi lang along y. So, it means, roughly, without solving, I can say that the center of mass of this system will be roughly here. Nandito sa position na to. Kasi ito yung mas mabigat, ito yung magagaan. So, mostly magsha-shift ang center of mass natin roughly here. Okay? Pero as engineers, hindi nyo sabihin dapat roughly. Dapat accurate at makompute natin yung ating center of mass. So, we will use again our formula previously, which is this. So, since we have 4 masses, I add up M3X3, then M4X4, then the other 2 masses. Again, X1, X2, X3, and X4 are the position of the masses. Okay? So, in this case, since these are position, let's say these are circle, lahat ng center of gravity ng center of mass ng circle ay nasa gitna. Okay, so hindi tayo magkakaroon ng problema dito kasi si x1, x2, x3, and x4 are the center of masses. Okay, so naghihingalo na yung aking boses. Again, si x1, si x2, x3, x4 are the position of center of mass of different masses. Since we have circle here, medyo madali ang ating case. Pero kung meron tayo dito, for example, meron tayong triangle, meron tayong square, meron tayong L shape, magkakaroon tayo ng malaking problema doon. Okay? So, mamaya na yung may ganun. Okay? So, that will be the case. So, here, for xm, we will solve for xm muna. So, as if, ang gagawin natin para madali yung idea ng pag-solve nito, as if you will place all the masses along x. So, parang binaba ko lahat ng masses o along x. Okay? So, it means si green, si green na si 6 kilogram ay nasa 1 meter, ang position niya 1 meter. Si blue would be on 2, si orange nasa 7, and si purple nasa 8. Okay, yun yung kanyang position on the x-axis. So that will be, so if I will solve now, so that is 6 kilogram times 1 meter kasi ang position niya is nasa 1 meter. Then 9 kilogram nasa 2 meter. Si orange, 3 kilogram times 7 meter. Then si purple, that is 3 kilogram times its position, which is 8 meters. And the sum of these masses, which is this one. And to get now, so that is 6 kilogram meter, 18 kilogram meter, 21 kilogram meter, and 24 kilogram meter. Cancel out the kilogram, definitely. Divided by 21 kilogram. And the position now on X is 3.29 meter. So roughly, nandito siya. Okay? Nandito yung kanyang center of mass kung titingnan natin dito. Okay? Pero hindi pa dyan nagtatapos ang ating problem because we have to also to determine the center of mass along Y. Now, this is the formula for along Y. Same. Inad natin yung M3 and M4. So, it will be just like this. So, as if itong mga masses na to minove natin along Y. Okay? So, it means ang ating position na, so that is, si green muna, green will be, ang position ni green ay 7 meters. So, 6 kilograms, 7 meters. Ang position ni orange, 3 kilograms times 6 meters here. Ang position ni blue, 9 kilograms at 2 meters. And ang position ni purple ay 3 kilograms times 1 meter. And the sum of their weight or their masses, it will be this one. So again, cancel out again the kilogram. So the center of mass along Y, okay, is 3.86 meters. So roughly, nasa ng 3.86, malapit dito sa 4. Okay, roughly here. Okay, so if we will combine now our answer, so si X, the center of mass along X is 3.29. So roughly here, ito. Si Y naman is 3.86, so roughly here. So it means this is the center of mass of our system. Okay? So that is the center of mass. And to properly write here, ito yung dapat, ganito yung pag-answer nyo sa exam ha. So parang ganyan. It's just a point of the system. Nagkakaintindihan ba tayo dito? Hello? Can you understand?
Yes po.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kala ko nawala na naman ako. Okay. So this is the how to get the center of mass of masses. Okay. What if this is the system? Okay. So this is our, let's say, irregular object. Actually, mas mahirap pa dito. Pero i-discuss ko nyo na yun sa engineering. Okay. Baka kasi wala na kayo i-discuss sa engineering mechanics. So, mas may mahirap na figure dito. For example, may square, may curve, may circle, and so on. Okay? So, for this one, we will have this type of system. Okay? Now, sa tingin nyo, where is the center of mass of this system? Okay, so we will find out the center of mass of this system. Now, since this is not a point, just like previously kasi parang point lang siya. Okay, circle which is a point. Pero here, ang mangyayari sa atin, we will get the area. Okay, ang pag-uusapan natin is area. So the other formula on solving the center of mass, if we will talk about area, is this. So, center of mass on X is area 1 times its position. Pag sinabi natin position is yung center of mass ng mismong area ha. For example, if it's square, nasa gitna. If it's rectangle, nasa gitna pero depende sa length and width ng rectangle. Okay? So, then plus area 2 times its center of mass plus area of so on and so on divided by their areas, okay? And the same for y. Okay, so this is the general equation of center of mass if we are going to talk about area. So, paano natin makukuha yung area nitong shape na to? So, mas madali siyang gawin if we will divide this into 3 rectangles. Okay, just like this. Okay, so we have the blue one. This is my area 1. Okay, this is my area 1. This is my area 2 and this is my area 3. Ito ay nakadepende sa inyo kung paano nyo i-solve. So for example, ayan yung gawin, meron, ito yung system nyo. Pwede nyo, ito yung area 1 nyo. That is your area 1. You can do that. This is your area 2 and this is your area 3. Okay? Pero definitely, hindi nyo ito masosolve ng dalawa lang yung inyong rectangle. Okay? So, you will use 3. So, area 1, area 2, and area 3. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin is we have to find first what is the area. So, to solve for the area, that is length times width. So, that is for area 1, that is 1 meter times 2 meters. So, bakit siya naging 1 times 2? So, kung titingnan nyo, this is our blue. Okay? And ito yung mga boxes. Ito yung ating mga distances. Ang na-occupy niya lang is 1 meter along its, let's say this is length. At ang kanyang width ay 2 meters. Okay? That's why its area is 2 meters squared. For my area 2, si area 2, ano sa tingin nyo ang area niya? What is the area 2?
12 po.
Okay, so that is, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 6 meters times 2. So that is 12. How about area 3? How about area 3?
8.
Ha?
8, ma'am.
Okay, so that is 2 times 4, that is 8. Okay, so yun yung una nating isosolve. Now, ang susunod naman nating isosolve is yung center of mass ng bawat area. Okay, so pag sinabi natin center of mass ng bawat area, this is the center of mass of my area 1. Okay, so this is the center of mass of my area 1. This is, okay, wait lang, baka this is the center. I will just using a pen. This is the center of area 2 and this is the center of area 3. Okay? So yan yung mga center. Okay? So center of mass. Now, ang kukunin natin is position niya lang along X. So wag niyong papansinin si Y. Kukunin lang natin muna yung position niya along X, which is here. So in that case, it will be this one. That is 3 meters for area 1. For area 2, that is, anong sagot sa area 2? What is the position of the center of mass of area 2?
5 meters.
5 po.
5, 5, 5.
Is
5 po.
5. Good. How about area 3?
8 po.
8. 8
Okay, very
meters.
good. So that is 8 meters. Since we know now the area and their center of mass of different area na chinus natin, we can now solve for its center of mass along X. X pa lang to. So that is 2 meters squared times its center of mass, that is 3 meters, times, plus rather, 12 times 5. So that is the area of area 2, that its center of mass, which is 5, plus 8 area of RA3 times its center of mass A3. Again, kung titingnan nyo, nakadepende pa rin tayo lagi sa origin. Okay? Sa origin. As if we will place this in an origin. So it means divided by both sides by all the areas, sum of their areas. So this is, okay, cancel out yung, okay, so matitira na lang meters. So the answer here is 5.91 meters. So it means ang center of mass along here is roughly nandito, malapit sa 6. Okay? Pero hindi pa tayo tapos. Okay? Hahanapin naman natin ang center of mass of these areas along Y. So in that case, we will use this formula. So since we have the same area, I will just copy it from our previous discussion. So, again, nandito yung center of mass ni A1. Ano ang kanyang center, position ng center of mass along Y?
5.5.
5.5.
Very good. Okay, 5.5. How about A2?
5. 3.
Ano 5? It's not 5.
3, ma'am, 3.
Okay, 3. How about A3?
1.
1.
Okay, 1 meter. So, ang titingnan nyo is yung position niya along Y. So, therefore, our formula now, that will be area times its position along Y, that is 5.5 plus 12 times position ni area 2, that is 3 meters, plus 8, then its position is 1 meter, divided by the sum of all their areas, and the answer here is 2.5 meters. That is for the position of Y. So it means roughly nandito. Okay? Now, if we will have here the L shape again, ang ating center of mass, so ito muna si X, position ni X. So roughly here, that is malapit sa 6. And then si Y, center of mass along Y, that is 2.5. That is 1. And this is now the center of mass of your system. Okay? Now, ito ay center of mass lang ng isang system. Pag maraming combination nito, alam nyo na yung gagawin. So, you will just add. Okay? So, for example, maraming ganito yung shape. So, meron ditong, ito yung shape, meron ditong square, meron ditong circle, and so on. So, to find the center of mass, gagawin nyo siya lagi on different shapes. Lalo na pag yung shape sa system nyo is irregular. Okay, just like this. Okay? So, hopefully, nagkaintindihan tayo. So, the final answer you will write here in your final exam next week is this one. So, ganito ang pagsulat. Okay? So, that is for the first part. Supposedly, ito yung first video na hindi ko ginawa kasi namaos na talaga ako. Okay, so this is the first part of your lecture. Ang second part natin is 3D na. Okay, we will now discuss 3D. Do you have questions on this? On 2D?
Wala po.
Okay, wala. Okay. So, again, itong discussion na to, itong part na to ay, so hopefully, panoorin nyo to ha. Ito kailangan nyo itong panoorin kasi lahat na doon na-discuss ko on second condition of equilibrium of a hang bridge. Okay? Ang pag-uusapan na natin is hang bridge. Yung video na to will be the hang bridge, finding solving formula of hang bridge in 2D, which is your experiment 4. Okay, 2D. Now, ang didiscuss ko sa lecture ngayon is 3D. Okay, this is also the same with hang bridge, which is this system. So, merong mass, merong meter stick, merong tension, pero this case, 3D na tayo. Okay, pag-uusapan natin 3D. Kakaintindihan ba tayo? Siguro natatandaan nyo yung pag-solve nito, tama? Hello? Okay. So, nagbigay ako ng seatwork na ganito na isosolve nyo. So, kailangan yung panoorin tong pre-lab on experiment 4 kasi hindi ko na siya ulitin kasi everything is there on my discussion on a hang bridge for 2D. Okay? Wala na akong i-add up doon. Okay? For 3D, let's discuss this one. Okay, so this is just like the bridge problem then. Okay, so for the bridge problem, this is now the bridge. Ito yung ating hang mass. And instead na isa lang yung string natin, dalawa. Okay, so ang goal lagi natin sa problem na to, baka medyo magulat kayo ha, kasi supposedly ang prerequisite nito is yung 2D. So ang goal lagi nito is to find the tension of the string. Okay? Just like here, previously in your experiment, pinapahanap din sa inyo yung tension of the string of this system. Okay? What is the tension of the string of this system para masupport niya yung bridge nyo na merong mass. Okay? So that is the system. Ganun din ang ating hahanapin dito. Pero medyo mas mahirap lang siya kasi meron tayong dalawang string at naka 3 dito. Okay? So, let's determine first the forces. So, we have 3 forces here. The weight, the F1, and the F2. Okay, so that are our forces. Now actually, if you will go to my discussion on pre-lab, meron pa yung other forces. Meron pang yung force ng wall, force ng hinge, and so on. Okay, so meron pang forces acting here. Parang doon sa previous nating discussion, parang force of support. Since this is a bridge problem, there is force on X, force on Y, and force on Z. Okay, so that will be, so, yun yung system niya. Okay? So, again, hopefully, panoorin nyo muna yun. Okay? Before, pag hindi nyo to naintindihan, panoorin nyo muna yun, then balikan nyo tong video na to. Okay? So, ang una natin isosolve dito para mahanap natin ang tension is we have to determine first the Cartesian vector form of these forces. So, wala tayong way na masolve to in 2D. Okay? Or in scalar form kasi ito ay alam mo na, naka 3D. So, mas madali siya kung vector solution ang ating gagamitin. Okay? So, let's focus first on F1. Now, kukunin natin muna ang Cartesian form ng ating F1 in which that is what is the magnitude of the F1 times its unit vector. Okay? So, I have discussed this in the previous discussion natin, yung last lecture nung December. So, hopefully, kung hindi nyo matandaan kung paano kunin ang unit vector of this, you go back there. Okay? So, here, since hindi natin alam yung magnitude ni F1, F1 lang siya. Okay? Times, ang hanapin natin is yung amount ng unit vector. So, paano natin malalaman yung unit vector? So, it will be what is the position vector of F1 and what it divided by its magnitude of its position vector. Now, this position vector is the position vector that is parallel to F1. Okay? So, kung ano yung position vector na parallel to F1, which is this. Okay? So, previously sa ating discussion on this, kung ano yung bakit tayo gumagamit ng position vector that is parallel to F1, that is to find what is the unit vector. Okay? Kasi there is no way to find the unit vector of this using a force vector. So, kailangan natin gumamit ng position vector. Okay? So, that will be for R1. Pagkuha ng R1 is, so, this is how to get R1. So, since this is point A and this is point B, so kailangan natin kunin yung position of point A and point B. So, that will be, ang point A is 0. So, hopefully, na-review nyo na to. Position niya along X is 0. Position niya along Y is 6. And ang position niya along Z is 0. Okay? So, B, how about you? Paano yung position niya at point B? Can you tell me? What is the position B here? Hello?
2, 0.
Along X, that is?
2 po.
2, 0.
3.
Okay, good. That is 2 feet, 0, and 3 feet. Good. Okay. Now, we will use this position to find R. So, that is 0. So, mauna yan is B minus A. So, 2 minus 0, that is 2 I hat. 0 minus 6, that is negative 6 J hat. 3 minus 0, that is 3 K hat feet. So, that is the position vector of R. That is a position vector of R1 parallel to F1. And to get the magnitude of that, that is 7 feet. And F1 now is, the unit vector now for F1 is 2 minus 6 plus 3K hat feet divided by 7 feet. So, kukunin natin yung answer niya. Pero as much as possible in this type of problem, as much as possible, wag tayong gagamit ng decimal. Okay? So, unlike nung previous problem natin, gumagamit tayo ng 0.01, 0.02, o 0.0. So, here kasi, pag na-ground off tayo, hindi na natin makukuha yung summation of moment which is equal to 0. May butal. Okay? Magkakaroon tayo ng butal, which is a very big problem, lalo na pag sa actual world. Okay? So, magkakaroon ng butal. So, ang gagawin natin is we will get the fraction only because 2 over 7 is a decimal. Okay? So, that will be, ang final answer natin is F1 times 2 over 7 I hat. So, this is your unit vector now. Minus 6 over 7 J hat plus 6 over 7 K hat. And we will distribute now our F1. Kailangan natin siya i-distribute because we will use this later. So, for F1, that is 2 over 7 of the magnitude of F1 I hat minus 6 over 7 of F1 of J hat plus 3 over 7 F1 K hat. Okay? So, meron pa lang tayo F1 pero hindi pa natin alam what is the magnitude of the tension, what is F1 talaga. Okay? Formula pa lang yan. Okay? Now, let's go to F2. Same, ganun din ang gagawin natin. We will get the position formula using Cartesian vector. Here, that is the position vector parallel to F2. So, that is position A and position C. So, this is again the formula. So, that is C minus A. And the position A is 0, 6, 0. And ang position C is negative 2, 0, 3. So, the formula for our position vector 2 is negative 2I hat minus 6 plus 3K hat feet. And the magnitude of that is 7 feet. Okay, same lang. Okay, so ang difference niya lang kanina is negative lang yung ating I hat. So, if we will get now the unit vector, so that will be this one. We will divide this R to its magnitude. So that is negative 2 over 7 I hat minus 6 over 7 J hat plus 3 over 7 K hat. Then, we will distribute F2. So, the formula now for our F2, hindi pa to final formula. The formula now for our F2 is negative 2 over 7 F2 I hat minus 6 over 7 F2 J hat plus 3 over 7 F2 K hat. Okay? Ang ginagawa pa lang natin is we are getting the Cartesian form of our forces. Okay? So, later on, again, ang hahanapin natin what is the value of our F2. Okay? What is the magnitude? Kasi yun yung pinapahanap. And definitely, wag niyong kakalimutang i-convert din si weight, okay, into Cartesian vector. Since this is given naman ang magnitude niya and that is directly going downward, so that is negative 75 pound K hat or negative 75 K hat pound. Okay? So medyo madali ito pag since directly lang siya along z-axis. Okay? So we have now our forces into Cartesian form. We will now use the moment. Okay? Ito na yung, okay? So, gagamitin natin yung moment to find the forces. Okay? Pero mahaba pang proseso. So, we will have the moment of force of each forces. So, gagawin natin siya, hindi natin siya magagawa ng sabay-sabay. Pero pwede naman. Pero in my discussion, kukunin natin muna yung moment of force of F1, then moment of force of F2, and moment of force of weight. Okay? Kasi since 3D siya, isa-isahin natin siya. Okay? Now, kung papansin niyo, F1, F2, and F3 ay connected on this point. So, therefore, we will just use, that is, we are going to use that one. We will just use one, ano ba to? Bakit? We will just use one moment arm. Okay? Again, si F1, si F1, si F1, si F2, and si weight ay nasa isang position, connected lang siya sa one point of our lever arm. So therefore, they will have one moment arm. And to get that moment arm, okay, so that is the formula. So that is, mukhang baliktad yata to. So that is 0 minus ano dapat to? A minus 0. Okay, that is A minus 0. So it means our moment arm here is just 6J hat feet. Okay? So, ito yung ating moment arm. Okay? So, gagamitin natin to solve F1, the moment arm of F1, the moment arm of F2, and the moment arm, the moment of force of weight. So, let's start with F1 first. So, what is the moment of RRO times F1? So, that will be, our F1 is this, and this is our moment arm. And we will place it in a matrix or determinants. So that is for moment arm, so that is 0, 6, and 0. For the force, yung value niya, 2 over 7 F1 for I, negative 6 over 7 F1 for J, and 3 over 7 F1 for K. Okay? Now, to solve this one, how the moment arm now, or the moment of force, bakit ako moment arm ng moment? The moment of force now of F1 due to F1 is, okay, so you have to cover it. Inisa-isa ko pa yata to eh, okay? You have to cover this one, so 6 times 3 over 7, that one, that is this, minus 0. So definitely that is minus 0 I hat. Cover this one, since these are two zeros, so that is 0 minus 0 J hat. Then cover this one, so that is plus 0 times 6 times 2 over 7 F1 K hat. So it means our moment due to F1 is this, 18 over 7 F1 I hat minus 0. So for this purpose, nilagay ko muna yung 0, kahit 0 yung value ni J, pero later on, hindi natin yan lalagay. Then for K, that is negative 12 over 7 F1 K hat pound feet. Okay? Again, this is just the moment for the first force. Okay? First force pa lang tayo. For F2, so same. We will use the same moment arm. So magkakaroon kayo ng problema dito pag yung problem na isosolve nyo is iba yung position ng forces. For example, may isa pang, si weight ay nakalagay dito, okay? Nakalagay dito, then yung string naman dito. So iba-iba, magkakaroon tayo ng iba't ibang moment arm on different forces, okay? In this case, nagkataon lang na sila ay nakakabit in same point, okay? So for here, this is the moment arm of your F2. So we are solving for F2 in this case. So this is our F2. Same. So what is the RO times F2? So 0, 6, 0. And for the value now of F2, that is negative 2 over 7 F2 minus 6 over 7 F2 and 3 over 7 F2. And we will now solve. So cover this one, 6 times 3 over 7 F2 minus 0, kasi 0 to, that is I hat. Cover this, so that is 0 and 0 yan, so it's just 0. Then cover the K, so 0 minus this, so that is 0. Then 6 times, minus 6 times 2 over 7 F2 K hat. So this will become positive. Okay, so that is, ang answer dito ay negative 18 over 7 F2 I hat minus J, nilagay ko na naman, and this is 6 times 2, so that is negative, negative, positive 12 over 7 F2 K hat. Okay, so that is now our moment arm for the second force pa lang. Okay, huwag niyong kalimutan si weight. So we will have the weight also, the moment of arm of the moment of force of weight. So that is 1. Okay, so medyo madali lang to. So that is 060 for the moment arm, and for the weight, that is negative 75 pound K hat. Okay, and that will be 6 times negative 7. So if you will cover this one, yung I 6 times negative 7 minus 0. Then if you will cover this, so that is still 0. And if you will cover this, it's still 0. So your moment arm for the third force, which is the weight, is this one. Okay, which is negative 450 I hat pound feet. So nilagay ko lang yung J and K for the purpose of this discussion. Okay, so now, okay, so may tanong ba kayo? Do you have any question before we continue?
Wala naman po.
Okay, sana wag kayong malunod. Okay, so this one. No, since we now have 3 moments, okay, alam na natin ang um, moment of force ni F1, ni F2, and ni F3. Ang gagawin natin is we will segregate all the moments along X, moment along X, moment along Y, and moment along Z. Okay? So, ito yung purpose natin para ma-solve natin yung value ni F1 and ni F2 talaga. Okay? So, paano natin i-segregate? So, alam nyo, kaya ko nilagay siya si first force into this form para ma-segregate natin. Okay? So, this is yung sagot natin ng moment of force ni F1, moment of force ni F2, and moment of force ni weight. So, pag sinabing segregate, ang pagsasama-samahin ko is yung moment of force along I. Okay, which is this. Then, moment of force along J. And moment of force along K. Okay, so in this case, the summation of moment along X, Y, and Z are still 0 because our system is not rotating. Okay, so it means ano yung mga forces along moment along X, that is 18 over 7 F1 I hat, ito yun, plus this, plus negative 450 pound I hat, and that is equal to 0. We will equate this 0. Now, ang goal natin, kaya natin ginagawa natin to is tinidetermine natin which of this equation masosolve natin si F1 or F2. Now, here, along X, merong F1, merong F2. So, definitely, dalawa yung unknown natin, wala tayong masosolve. Okay? Wala tayong masosolve. So, in this case, let's proceed to the next one. So, the moment of force of F1, moment of force on Y. So, since theirs are 0, so useless. Okay? We don't have this one. We don't have equation on moment of force on Y. Now, for the moment of force along Z, that is, let's write it here. So, that is negative 12 over 7 F1. So, this one. For the second, that is plus 12 over 7 of F2 K hat. And this is 0, so that is equal to 0. Okay? So, here, dalawa yung unknown natin, okay, on this case, pero pwede tayong makasolve. Okay? Using this, we can say that 12 over 7 F2K hat is just equal to 12 over 7 F1K hat. And since we can cancel this out, yung 12 over 7, and also the K hat, so it means F2 is just equal to F1 in this case. Okay? F2 is just equal to F1. Since we have the idea of F2 is just equal to F1, we will try to replace F2 here with F1. Okay? So we will try to replace F1 here, F2 here to F1 since they are just the same. So it means it will be like this. So 18 over 7 F1 I hat plus 18 over 7 F1 I hat minus 450 I hat. Then simplify, add this one, so that is 36 over 7 F1 I hat minus negative 450 pound I hat is equal to 0. So we will transpose it to the other side. So it will be this one. Okay, so nakikita nyo na yung flow. So it means we can now solve for our F1 by this. Okay, it's either multiply both sides by 7 over 36, and it will be F1 is equal to 7 over 36 times 450 pound. Then maka-cancel out yung I hat. So that will be F1 now is 87.5 pound. Okay, so this is now the answer for our F1. Now for F2, since they are just the same, F2 is also 87.5 pound. Okay, so that will be now the discussion on this. Okay, so okay, ito na yung mga seat work na to eh. Okay, do you have any question? We are done with the second condition of equilibrium. May tanong ba? Okay, mukhang wala kayong tanong. Okay. Walang tanong? Okay, ready na kayo mag-sit work? Okay. So, I will now end the meeting, and ang sit work nyo is, kailangan nyo itong sagutan lahat. So, you have here the number 1, the crane problem again. So, that is number 1. This is number 2. So, dalawa. So, this is your sit work number 2. This is your sit work number 3. Para masagutan nyo yung sit work number 3 and sit work number 4, kailangan nyo panoorin yung pre-lab ng experiment 4. Okay? So, sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi ko na ulitin kasi ito lang yun. Nandun lang yun. And this one is for sit work number 5 and 6. Okay? Now, you can submit this until 12. Okay? Today. Okay ba yun? 11:59 only until today. Okay? Para manamnam nyo yung ating discussion. This will be the last topic, okay, of our discussion. So, pag naintindihan nyo to, medyo madadalian na kayo sa engineering mechanics kung papasa muna kayo sa physics. Okay? So, teka lang. So, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? May tanong ba? Ha?
Pwede po pa-extend yung submission po. Kasi may klase po kami hanggang 7 p.m. po.
Kaya nga, 11:59 p.m. Okay? So, hanggang 11.
Pwede po ba bukas ng 12 noon?
Hindi pwede. Hindi pwede. Oh, ayaw nyo hanggang last stress na lang. Oh, answer this until 3.
Tomorrow, ma'am.
Ngayon.
Hindi, ma'am. Sige po.
Meron pa kayong 1.5. Meron pa rin kayong 1.5 hour to solve this one. Kung face-to-face to, kayang-kaya nyo to. Okay? Ang problema lang kasi natin is, baka ida-download nyo pa kasi yung video kung hindi nyo na namnam o hindi nyo naintindihan. Okay? So, again, hanggang 11:59 lang tayo ang pasahan ng sit work na to. Okay? So, yun na yung pinaka-extended extension nyo. Okay. So, maliban doon, do you have any more questions? Okay. Now, on your okay na. Now, for your final exam next meeting, do not be late. Okay? Kasi the coverage of your final exam is everything. Pero mas malaki yung bulk sa first condition and second condition. Okay? Siguro 60%, 70% yata ng questions ay nasa equilibrium. Then, yung mga prerequisite is yung 40%, yung before, yung components, the sine law, cosine law, and so on. Okay? So, 40% yun, then 60% nasa equilibrium. Okay? So, hopefully, wag kayong malate sa orientation again next meeting. So, that will be from 12 to 12:15 and ang exam is until 3 p.m. only. Okay? So, in that case, teka, wala yata multiple choice doon. Teka, may multiple? Wala yata. Okay? So, mga basic lang yung mga multiple choice doon para mga conceptual. Pero the rest, you have to provide your answers. Okay? So, ganun. Okay? So, magkakaroon pa rin tayo ng orientation next meeting on how to do the exam, what are the do's and don'ts, and so on. Okay? So, in that case, I will give you now your sit work. Okay? So, kaya nyo bang mag-print screen? I-print screen nyo Na-print screen nyo na ba?
Hindi pa
Hindi pa
po.
po.
Hindi pa, ma'am.
Okay, so this is your sit work number 1. Print screen. Tinamad na. Nahirapan kasi ako mag-upload lagi sa sa MS Teams. Ewan ko ba. This is your sit
Okay
work
na, ma'am.
number 1. Can we go to sit work number 2?
Sige, ma'am.
2. This is 15 meters, ibig sabihin 1 box here is 1 meter. Okay, baka malito kayo. So, number 2, 3. Ito yung medyo madugo lang. So, kailangan yung panoorin yung previous video on this. That is number 3 and 4. And, sige, itong 4 and 5, pwede nyo itong i-submit kasi ito yung pinakamahirap talaga. Pwede nyo itong i-submit bukas until 11:59 p.m. Itong 5 and 6. Okay na yon. Okay na ba yon?
Ma'am, okay na okay yan, ma'am. Okay na okay
Okay.
po.
So, ang
Salamat
kailangan nyo
po.
So, I will post to Sitworks. Yung Sitwork number 1, yung tab natin yung assignment tab natin, ang Sitwork number 1, ang ipapasa nyo doon is sit number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, doon sa assignment tab. Then, yung sa assignment tab na pangalawa, Sitwork number 2, ang papangalanan ko doon is January, ano ba ngayon? January 7 sit work number 2. Ang ipapasa nyo doon is yung number 5 and number 6. Okay? So, print screen this one, then do your sit work na. Okay? So, pag wala nang tanong, ano yun na, print screen. Okay, pag na print screen nyo na, okay, I will now download the attendance. At ilan lang kayo? Okay, kanina,
Ma'am?
21. Yes.
Ma'am, bali
Yes.
ano po yung papasa bukas, ma'am?
Yung number 5 and 6 lang.
5 and 6 lang po. Anong oras po, ma'am?
Okay.
Anong oras po bukas,
Sinisipon
ma'am?
na ako sa 11:59 p.m.
PM po. Sige po.
Okay. Okay na? Pag wala may tanong pa, do you have any more questions? Okay. Kung wala na, I will now end the meeting. So, see you next meeting on our final exam. And, okay, gawin nyo na yung sit work nyo, Okay. End the meeting.